All right, we should be on air now. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another week of Ubuntu engineering updates. With me today, I've got George Castro, who's going to give us an update on the server cloud Juju world. And I'll give a brief update on what's been going on with stuff on the community and the app dev side. We're a little bit short on staff today. We've got app developer week going on right now and UDS planning for next week going on, so everybody's a bit busy. But I'll give you more updates on that after George. George, why don't you take it away?
Sure. So here's your server update for almost 1404. We're pretty much in freeze now as far as the server is concerned. So what you see now in 1404 modulo bug fixes is basically what we're going to land. The biggest change since last time I was on here is Nginx is now in main. That's a fast web server that a lot of people use, and particularly with Rails and Node.js. So having that in main gives us security updates in main for the life of the LTS. As well, Thomas Ward, who's maintaining this, is going to be providing Devil and stable PPAs, as well as keeping the package looking good in Debian. So it's a win for everybody all around. So I'm really excited about that. As far as the Juju land comes, 1.16.5, the stable release, has been released. That's in the PPA. The development release is currently 1.17.5. We're currently working towards getting 1.18. That will be the version that will be in the final version that will be in Ubuntu LTS 1404. Major features that are going to land there is, I was just telling you before, the manual provider. This lets you run on any, lets you run Juju deployed instances on any Ubuntu machine with OpenSSH, which is really nice. And another nice feature there, if you aren't aware, you can deploy containers on those machines. So if you're sharing a server with somebody and you don't want to stomp all over the root file system and break their pristine server or whatever, you can always deploy within containers on that machine. And since the manual provider runs on anything, this opens up rack space, Linode, and basically any VPS that you have. So you type the equivalent of Juju add machine and you give it the address, you exchange the SSH keys, and then from then on you can Juju deploy. Another provider that's currently in testing is the DigitalOcean provider for Juju, which we call Judo. Get it? Juju DigitalOcean. I didn't mean it, but I think it's pretty clever. That will allow native support for Juju on DigitalOcean, which is great. This is a Kapil side project. We haven't really committed to when we would officially support DigitalOcean. It certainly does work, and you should definitely give it a shot. We're interested in seeing how people mess with that, especially in relation to the manual provider. The other thing that's coming next week, Juju bundles. I've been working on this for a few months now. So before I've been telling you, hey, you should try Juju. It gives you charms of PostgreSQL, WordPress, Hadoop, and all these kinds of things. But you still have to manually, that's like giving you a pile of Legos, right? So it's like, Michael, check out this cool stuff. Here's a box of Legos, and you still have to figure out how to put them together, right? And sometimes you put them together wrong, or you put them together, but it's not as efficient as it could be. Bundles are the equivalent of like the Lego set, right, where you just buy the pirate ship, right, and like just put it together. But it mostly comes pre-assembled. So what that allows us to do is ship workloads on top of Ubuntu in the charm store. So instead of individual charms, you'll just say, you know what, I need a Hadoop cluster, and you'll just find the Hadoop bundle, and you'll click deploy, and it will deploy the entire cluster of things for you. And I've been making some of these bundles. They're pretty easy to make, and we're making them in such a way that they come scalable out of the box. So the Hadoop cluster that I'm working on right now comes with like 13 nodes, and you just click deploy, and it deploys it. If you want to scale out more, you can just click add unit. And we've tested that in the past at 2,000 nodes. We haven't replicated it with this bundle or the new Juju yet, but that's what we're working to do. So the idea will be, oh, I need a whole entire cluster of things, or I need an OpenStack, and you should just be able to deploy everything in one command. So what's really nice is the bundles can live on the internet, so you just type Juju quick start, URL to the bundle, and then you go have a cup of coffee, you come back, and your infrastructure is deployed. So
And bundles will work with any provider, right? I can deploy this on OpenStack or LXC or...
Yeah, so that's what's awesome is the Juju abstracts a provider for you. So you don't really care. You deploy the same way across any provider, which is really nice, right? You can deploy internally or on Amazon the exact same way, which is really nice for testing and things like that. So at Scale, I just came back from Scale, and we demoed OpenStack being deployed on HP Cloud, which you would never actually deploy a cloud on top of another cloud, except to show that it works. So we did that. It was, I think it took us 20 minutes to deploy OpenStack on HP Cloud. Obviously, if you're doing that like in a work scenario and you have real physical hardware, that gets a little bit more difficult, right? You have to have switches and cables and all that stuff. But it's really nice that the software part of it, knock on wood, by 1404 will be the least of your worries. We're currently in the process of auditing all the charms in the charm store. These are the charms that make up the bundles. A lot of this has been standing up automated testing, which is almost complete and ready to be turned on. And Marco's been working on Amulet, which is a test integration harness. He's made something like 10 releases in the past 2 months or something. It's crazy. He's making point release after point release based on feedback from our users that will allow you to not only write your charm, but have a whole test integration framework around it. When you do that, we can automate testing for you and run it on all the providers and substrates. So if you submit a charm to the charm store, we'll regularly test it for you if you provide it, an Amulet part of your charm. That way you'll know when it turns red on HP Cloud one day or something, you can go fix it before it affects users. So that's really nice. Some more improvements to Juju core testing. Obviously, where we are in the cycle right now, they're ramping up towards release. So that's all about finding regressions, fixing bugs, and in general making it production ready. We're still waiting for one more thing, which will make Juju, we consider Juju to be production ready, which is HA. And the nice thing about this is you'll be able to add on HA when this lands. So HA means high availability. So right now, in your environment, Juju needs its own dedicated orchestration node to see what's going on everywhere, right? So that's really great because you get all these benefits of being able to do all the magic stuff, but you need a node, a dedicated node. The problem we've had is that if that node goes down, everything stays running, but you lose all the magic orchestration. So you're back to using SSH or whatever other manual tool that you did. So a lot of people have been asking, hey, we need this to be HA. So what you'll be able to do is when you do the upgrade to 1404, or the stable Juju version, which will be backported to 1204, you'll be able to just add on 2 nodes because you need odd numbers, right, for HA. You'll be able to add 2 more nodes, and then that gives you HA across the nodes, so if one of them goes down. Generally speaking, the orchestration node doesn't blow up like it used to in Juju back in the day, but it's still something that we need to have the box checked for people who are running these things in production. So once HA lands, that's really the last basic feature, and then we're going to call what comes in 1404 is the first enterprise-ready, rock-solid. We've been dogfooding this in Canonical now for the past over a year now. We have customers that are using it and depend on it. So this is going to be our big splash with Juju is going to be 1404. Other than that, OpenJDK is staying in main, so any concerns that people had about that, you can. We will have Java in server, so you'll be good. Other than that, that's really all I have. Updates. I mean, unless you have questions or.
Yeah, if anyone has questions, you can ask them in the Ubuntu On Air IRC channel. Just start it with question in all caps. And Jose's got a question for you, George. Are there any plans to support EC2 spot instances? They're a huge money saver.
Yes, so this is something, I actually have a bug on this that we want to do, we just haven't found the time. If you don't know what spot instances are, you can say, hey, Amazon, I want to get an M3 large, but I want to pay this much. And then what happens is as the free amount of instances on Amazon fluctuates, they give you different pricing, right? So on a certain day, if no one's using a certain amount of X type instances, they'll sell them for cheaper. The thing is and you'll pay a lot cheaper, very cheap, but the thing is they don't guarantee a lot, like the instances could go away at any time and all these kind of stuff. So they're really, really nice when you want to burst to do something and you need a bunch of them, but you don't care if they go away, right? You have reproducible data or something. Ideally and sometimes you have to wait, right? You're like, I want this size instance, but I only want to pay this much, and then Amazon will wait until the price hits what you asked before it provisions it for you. Um, Obviously, this is something I've wanted in Juju for a while because there is enough spot instances where you can say, I don't mind waiting an extra 10 minutes, if I'm going to end up paying a lot cheaper for these instances. So that is a bug that we do have open. It is a feature request, and we would like to do that eventually, but currently that's not on the roadmap for 14.0. But you did remind me, and I'm going to bring that up tomorrow because that's
Okay, so that would be good if you've got like an app that's heavy in data processing and you want to do it on the cheap.
right,
But it's
exactly.
not, you don't want to run your blog on a spot instance.
Oh, right, yeah, exactly. But if you're like, hey, I've got to run thousands of automated Jenkins tests or whatever, right? Ideally, what you want to do is you want to do both, right? You want to say, okay, we have to run, let's say, 5 M1 larges for your CI infrastructure on Jenkins, right? And that just runs, right? But if the price gets below this much, I want you to go ahead and add up to 10 more nodes. And then if they go away, then fine, you'll just rerun it on your dedicated one. But when the price is the right spot, and that helps you get a whole bunch of testing done or builds or whatever it is you're doing for your project, it is pretty cool. So yeah, it is nice to keep a nice stable set of instances that are constant and will always be there. Well, unless they all go down, but whatever. That will always be there, but then being able to grow elastically on top based on price, right? And this is one of the nice things about the cloud. Maybe during the middle of the night when there's no load or there's less load during the day, right, and prices go down, maybe that's when you want to automatically do a bunch of work, right, and then tear down when the price starts to go up. You can do all sorts of cool stuff. And some people are doing things like that. We haven't quite figured out how to bring that to Ubuntu users in a generic way yet, but it's definitely very cool. That's a good question.
Good stuff. Looking forward to it, George. All right, so from the app dev perspective of things, I mentioned earlier we've got App Developer Week going on. It started on Monday, and it's going to run through Friday. It's 1400 to 1800 UTC, and it's a series of online classes, essentially, where we've got a presenter who will come on a live hangout just like this and present on a certain topic. We've got everything from the Ubuntu platform itself for app developers. We've got things specific to QML development and HTML5 development, and even packaging and deploying your apps into the store. So if you are just now hearing about it, don't worry. All of these sessions are recorded. So if you go to the link I posted in IRC, it's summit.ubuntu.com/appdevweek-1403. All of the previous sessions, you can go back and you can watch the video recordings for those. And you can come tomorrow and Friday for the last set of live sessions. So that's what we've been busy doing this week. And next week, we have our next online UDS, which is going to also be on summit.ubuntu.com/UDS-1403. We're getting the schedules finalized for that now. We're going to have the same tracks as last time, so we'll have an app development track, a core Ubuntu development track, client, which will cover both desktop and mobile, and cloud server for George and his team. So that's where we plan our development of all of Ubuntu. We've got our next release coming up in April. So this is really going to be more of a checkpoint to see where we're at and what's left to be done to get us to that final release. But definitely attend those. They'll again be video hangouts with IRC for questions and conversation with people who can't join the hangout. And all of those will also be recorded and available to view later on. So that's this week and next week what we'll be doing. We will probably not have an Ubuntu engineering update next week because it's going to overlap with UDS, and we're going to be covering all of the same topics in a lot more detail in the UDS sessions. So don't come here next week. Go to summit.ubuntu.com next week to get all of your Ubuntu engineering updates.
Yeah, all right. Engineering updates will be boring. Fixing bugs. Yeah, so next. Fixing bugs until April. Next. Should be a good
All
time
right.
though.
And since I don't see any more questions, and I don't really have much more to give an update on for that. Oh, the Ubuntu App Showdown is still going on. We started that last week. It runs until I think April 6th. We've got some great prizes. We've got the new Nexus 7s as prizes, and we've got a couple of Meizu phones that will be running Ubuntu to give away as prizes. So for more information on that, go to developer.ubuntu.com/showdown. You can learn the rules, the time frame, and the specific prizes. So go there, create an app. It doesn't take long. It's real easy. We've got all of these App Developer Week sessions to help you get started and teach you how. So get some apps together, get them submitted, and win some cool prizes. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, George, for coming on.
See you guys.
Thank you, Jose, on IRC, for getting all of these Ubuntu On Air sessions set up for us. Make sure you follow Ubuntu On Air on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Ubuntu On Air, I believe, to find out about all of our new sessions that are coming up, because we do more than just Ubuntu engineering updates on here. So follow us there, attend UDS, enter the showdown, deploy stuff with Juju. All right. See you, everyone.